So we have now been traveling in our Travato since early August.
And it is now almost the end of October, which means it's been several months of us being essentially full-time van lifers. And it's been a really interesting and good experience.
And we're going to share some of the mods that we made to the Travato to make it very livable for us and share some about the experience.
I'm staying on the path that I've chosen, straight up. Come my way and I'll see you at the top. 'Cause something's gonna happen in this story, and I can feel it coming like the rising of the sun. Straight up. Calamity abounds and it's making me frown.
Wow. So it's like 2.5 months. And, when we first got the Travato, we shared that we did not think we'd be able to do extended travel. And it would be great for a week or two at a time.
Yeah, we thought 2 weeks would be stretching it. And it's actually now 2 months has been incredibly comfortable. Once we kind of learned how to settle in and work with the space, I've been blown away at just how comfortable the Travato is for extended life and just how much capability and storage and just everything we're able to fit into it.
And we didn't intend to do 2.5 months in it. Just kind of circumstances were put in our path between needing to travel down to be with my mom for her surgery, and then Hurricane Dorian forcing us in an evacuation on it, and then deciding, well, now that the boat's hauled out, we might as well
stay in the van.
And then your parents were leaving to go to Florida, so we went to St. Louis, and now we're here in Austin.
So we did this extended trip up to St. Louis, all the way down to Austin, and we've now been getting our bus out of storage. And so potentially, if all goes well, maybe tomorrow night we'll be sleeping back in a bus, and it's probably going to cause us agoraphobia to be in a bed that you can go like this in and stuff, because we've gotten so used to the teeny little spaces in the Travato, and it's no longer it's so comfortable. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's like switching back to a bus tomorrow.
Yeah, and a lot of people have concerns about the 59G layout because it is that corner bed. It is more narrow than a full-size bed. We're snugglers anyway, and the three of us pretty much just are in a big cuddle pile all night long. And yeah, there are times I wish I could just stretch out, or I could push him off the bed or something like that. But all in all, it's not been that bad.
No, actually, yeah, there were certain. I had to get used to sleeping, and sometimes I'd wake up and my face would be up against the wall like that, and there were a couple nights that it just was like, okay, she's hogging too much of the bed. I need to shove over, just get a little, just so I have breathing space. But it's actually, now that we've gotten into the habits of it and just know how to sleep with each other and in that space, it's worked out really well. And one of the concerns was, there's only one side of the bed you can get out of, and we're afraid, crawl over beds are annoying. You're always going to be disturbing the person. But the way you kind of slide out the bottom, it's really not been a problem to get out in the middle of the night.
We did 4 years in our first years on the road in true crawlover bed, and this is nothing
This is better.
like that. This is so much better because you just slip out the bottom. You're not actually having to crawl over each other, which I kind of do miss some of the.
Well, you could still crawl over each other. Yeah, you could, that's still an option, but now you don't have to wake up your partner when you're getting in or getting out and stuff. And so that's been working really well.
And then Workspace. I mean, that's one reason we picked the G layout, is that we could use the table area as a workspace, and we could have offset sleep schedules, which I tend to go to bed before he does, and he likes to pull all-nighters working on intensive content.
And the way the layout works is that if you have just the tiny dinette light on, no light streams back into the bedroom, and particularly if the air conditioner's on and stuff, no noise reaches the bedroom because the bedroom's in a cone of silence under the air conditioner. So we've been able to, even though there's no divider between the front and back, the person working up front doesn't bother the person in the back. And we're going to show you what we did to make a really awesome workstation that really, in some ways, is just as good, if not better, than we have on the boat and the bus. So we've got a really awesome place to work. Catches, it's really awesome for one person at a time.
And a lot of times we're working together. But let's go in the van and show you some of the cool mods.
We got a lot of cool mods to see. So starting here in the back of the Travato, we love having this big giant screen here, which when you sleep, you can actually leave the doors open at night and you get such great ventilation and when the temperature's great, we love this. You're kind of feeling like you're out in nature. You look out and you see critters running by. And we love how the Travato has got the bed up high and you've got a ton of storage space under here, which has worked out really, really well. But one of the concerns we ran into right away was that this space you could just push out, and the cat could figure that out of like how to escape out the bottom here. And so we came up with these powerful little bar magnets, and you could actually slide them in from the side. It's not quite stitched, and when the magnets are clipped in, it's pretty solidly cat-proof. So that was one very important mod, that we can now feel like we can leave this screen open and not have the cat run out, which we still haven't figured out the equivalent for the side door. She knows totally how to sneak out the side if the screen's there, but at least the back, we can leave it open and have the cat going safe inside. Then one other thing we just kind of keep in the back here that's been a wonderful upgrade is cooking inside the Travato is, there's not much counter space, and there's, kind of limited. We love to grill, and this Coleman grill is so tiny, but cooks so fast and is so easy to set up. So this has been one of the things we just keep stored right inside here and use all the time.
And another addition that we added to the van is these air vents, which we ordered from Eurocamper. We found out about them from our friends at the Nomads on their camper van, and it gives us ventilation in the front cab of the van when we're parked. You don't drive with these. They're so easy to deploy. You just stick them in, push them up to the top, and then you've got some ventilation and screening there. So it's great to get that airflow in the front of the cab. And they store really easily in the mat pockets on the side of the door.
Super nice. Got it on both sides.
All right, so this cabinet here is on the floor plan as a wardrobe. So it's supposed to be for hanging clothes, and it came with a rod at the top. We just store all of our clothes folded up in the overhead bins over the bed, and that's plenty for us. We pretty much fold and go clothing anyway. So we weren't using this for, we're not like carrying our tuxes or anything like that when we're traveling in the Travato. Wait, do we ever wear tuxes? I don't think so. Not really. So no, we don't do that. And so, but what we're finding was a lack of kitchen storage, especially pantry. So we turned this into a pantry system. And it does have a motion activated light. It's just too bright to turn on right now. So we put in shelves. This is just I think it's Closet Made or something. You can just buy it at Home Depot and Lowe's. It's a modular system. They'll cut it right on site to the width that you need. These are the 16-inch shelves, and we put them upside down so the lip is coming up so things can't fall as easily. And then that leaves you not that much space in front so you can actually stick things to the door. Now, sticking things to the door was difficult. This is such a slippery surface. Not even B-tape would stick to it. So we ended up having to screw mount everything in. But we found these spice racky things so that we can keep the spices here. And that is very accessible to the stove, which is right here, as well as some of the other stuff that we use on a more regular basis. So this has been fantastic for us to get more storage space for food. That way we're not having to provision at every single stop.
So the Travato for our navigation and radio came with this tiny screened little system with a TomTom navigation that was almost impossible to use, horrible user interface, really slow to work with, is basically useless as a navigation system. So one of the, with all these big road trips planned, one of the first things I wanted to tackle was replacing that stereo with something better. So went through a bunch of research and decided to get a JVC head unit from via Crutchfield. Came with all the install kit and everything needed to give us CarPlay, a much better stereo, and it has a few interesting little tricks up its sleeve. Like right now it's showing the tire pressure of all 4 tires because it can actually talk to the car's computer. It will show us a few other things as well. And then what we love is we just plug it into our iPhone and we've got CarPlay. And we have all the local maps. Actually, let me turn it off. The lights are still on. So you can see it in daytime mode. The maps, navigation, it talks to Siri. You could talk to it with Siri, say what music you want to hear, listen to a podcast,
Send text messages,
hear your text messages read to you, make phone calls, all with a very fabulous interface, and it's all just kind of pairs and works right with your phone just by plugging it in. So super handy to have a smart navigation system that gets better every day and has live traffic and all that other stuff because it's tied into your phone operating system. And if we were Android people, this actually same unit would work with Android Auto, but we're very happy with Apple CarPlay. Huge upgrade. I completely consider CarPlay mandatory for anybody who's road tripping.
Okay, so the Travato came with an Insignia, I think it was a 24-inch or a 22-inch TV, I think it's 24, and it was on just a single little, you can see where the old screw holes are. It's just a TV mount that basically it could swing out a little bit and get a little bit in the corner. It always created an awkward viewing angle from the front seats, and that's the only place you could view it from, was from here. And we wanted something that could get the TV to a better angle for working, for viewing television or movies from the front of the Travato, and also being able to view it in bed. Because, you know, I don't want to have multiple televisions in a 21-foot van. And we do enjoy our TV streaming. So what we did is we found this TV mount. We found it on the Travato Owners group on Facebook. This is an Amazon Basics. It was like $80. It wasn't a big deal. And moved it over here. It does leave the screw holes over on the other wall. But this now allows this television to come down to a much better viewing angle. And can also swing all the way around, and you can watch it in bed. It actually is a great angle for both people in bed to be able to watch. So that has been a fantastic upgrade and allowing us to really make this multifunctional. Now, this is not the Insignia television that came with the Travato. We could have just put that right on the arm. What we did, this is my 4K Retina screen that we bought for the boat. I use a Mac Mini as my main computer. That's what I do a lot of my video editing on now. This is what I use on the boat. There's a stand that goes with it. And what we were contemplating was, well, what are we going to do about the bus? Now I needed a high-end monitor on the bus. And do we really want to have all these monitors on all three vessels? So this was our solution, is we mount it in the Travato so it's safely transported between bus and boat, and useful in the Travato as a workstation or a television. And the stand actually fits perfectly inside of this seating area, which is where the Truma Combi is. It fits nicely in there. And so we're able to transport the entire monitor setup. And when we're on bus or boat, this will also just become my workstation on those. But here in the Travato, we're about to show you the workstation that we've set up. What you working on, Chris?
I'm working at a pretty friggin' amazing workstation that I cannot believe fits so nicely into a van. So when we talked about how well this works as a workstation, when Cherie's using it, she's got a wireless keyboard and mouse, and it works with her Mac Mini that is up in the tech cabinet up there. And then this monitor works for her. But when I'm using it with my laptop, I like to have multi-monitor going. So I've got the laptop and keyboard and screen here. But then I rotate this, and the monitor actually can rotate to be tall, so it's basically the equivalent of two other HD monitors stacked on top of each other. So I can have a lot of screens going, a lot of information to work with, and then I use my iPad here as a fourth screen. So I basically consider this a 4-monitor setup. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use this one as just kind of split in two. And it has been super nice and super productive. And this chair actually is a really good supporting office chair. The driver's seat here when it's spun around. So this is a really great workstation. I've been very impressed with it, and this monitor setup has been fabulous in that regard.
You can't have my monitor.
We share. That's the catch. There's only one really good workstation. Yes.
What about that fan over your head? What do you use that for? What is that?
And that, particularly before we got these little side vents, this little USB powered fan, which plugs into the USB power port up here, can give a really nice breeze, and it even oscillates. So that really helps make this a more comfortable space. And we actually replaced the USB power supply here, the 2 USB power ports, with higher power ports, because the ones that came in the Travato couldn't charge an iPad very fast, or barely at all. They couldn't charge our hotspots and stuff. So this has got Qualcomm Quick Charge 2 and can charge things a lot quicker off of USB there as well. So that was a very simple $15 replacement up there. So this has become a very fabulous workstation. And actually, if we're both trying to work here at the table, because this table spins out, we do love this, and there's still enough space for one other person to have a laptop here, and we've done work like that as well. Or Cherie really likes to work sitting Indian style back in the bed is one of her favorite ways.
Or standing desk over there too.
Yeah, actually, yeah, and actually we both use that area by the kitchen as a standing desk, and with the computers in the bed.
That's a weird cable coming through our ceiling. What the heck did we do there?
So we took off the King Jack and TV antenna that came with the Travato. It's really kind of an ugly antenna, and we don't watch over-the-air TV. We basically only stream. And we put in a 7-in-1 pointing MIMO antenna. So it's got 4 cellular antennas, 2 Wi-Fi antennas, and a GPS antenna. And unfortunately, the wire is just a bit too thick to have traced down the exact same route that the TV antenna had done. So we still have to pin this up against the roof, and we might replace this with something else or do something else here. But for now, this works across the top of the monitor and then goes here into our Pepwave Max Transit Duo. So this is actually a cellular integrated router with 2 modems. So the 4 cellular antennas are split. We got AT&T on 2 of them and Verizon on the other 2. So we got 2 cellular carriers going, and it combines inside that little box and gives us kind of the best of both carriers, always kind of balancing between them. So it's been really great for our internet connectivity.
And this is all stuff we're currently testing.
Yes, this is all part of our day job over at the Mobile Internet Resource Center. So we're writing a whole guide to configuring and how all this stuff works and how to do these combined connections and stuff. And then
this is all provided by, thank you, Live and Light, Eric and Kyla, for providing this equipment for us for evaluation and review.
Yep, so this is our under review stuff from them. And then we've got the Mac Mini mounted on the wall back in there, and have been experimenting with different inverter setups so we could power the monitor and the Mac Mini when we don't have shore power going on. And the first inverter we tried, it was not quite powerful enough, so we had to send it back. So it's currently not all installed in there at the moment. But this has been a fabulous, fabulous setup.
This has been so awesome. Our friend Sabina, our USB queen, we did a live cast with her back in August when we camped with them. She has all these USB gadgets, and this is probably my favorite one that she introduced us to. It is a tactical flashlight. It zooms and is super, super bright. It's magnetic, and it fits perfectly right there to store right as we're going out the door. Charges, it screws off. Charges by USB, so no cables or adapters to have to carry around. We just plug it in and charge it up, and the battery seems to last forever. And it's got all these different modes. It's got this side light, so we'll just use that when we're walking a campground just for ambient downlight without blinding anybody. And then it has a dim mode, and then it's got this mode, and then it can telescope. We have loved this little flashlight, and they're like $10 or $12 on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description if you want one of these. Super impressed with these. Family, friends, don't go buy them. You're getting them in your stocking this year.
So another mod we haven't quite finished installing is these are Sumo springs. So this is basically replaces or adds on to the suspension of the Travato, and it's got great reviews online is that it will really improve the ride, particularly that kind of rocking and swaying as you're pulling into places or hitting speed bumps and stuff like that. So this is should be a very simple thing to install. You really only just need a screwdriver and a jack. And we'll be tackling that very soon, and we'll be seeing just how much better the ride gets. But we're expecting good things from our Sumo springs.
And any other mods we're contemplating?
Other mods we're contemplating. One is we're thinking about it, hopefully before next summer, putting in a quieter air conditioner. The one on here roars, both externally, all your neighbors will hear it and be upset with you, and internally it's kind of a cone of silence effect. It's not particularly unpleasant, but it is very, very loud inside. So there is actually the newer 2020 Travatos come with the quieter air conditioning, and that's an easy upgrade. So switching to a better air conditioning.
What's up, lithium?
Lithium, yes. We were hoping at some point to do a better batteries, although we might be tempted to even get the new Travato that comes with them, maybe. We'll see. But we'll probably keep the current batteries for this current season and think through our lithium side of things in the future. And actually more solar would be nice too, because this has only got a very minimal solar panel, and we do not have a working inverter on here as well, so that's still a pending project. Hashtag van life, how's it been?
It has actually been surprisingly awesome. I mean, our first 4 years on the road, we traveled in a 16-foot teardrop and then a 17-foot fiberglass egg. So we're used to small space living, and I really thought our days of that were over.
Yeah, but we love just how nimble the Travato is, and not having the fuss of a tow car, not having to worry about where you park. We go out for lunch, and we'll go into regular parking spots, and we still will kind of like park out towards the back where there's space, because 21 feet, you're not getting in the compact only areas, that's for sure. But it is, you don't hesitate to go down places that you certainly hesitate to go down if you're driving a bus
or a trailer hookup.
Yeah.
So that has been great. It's been very nimble to get between our spots, and we don't hesitate, thinking about where we're going to fill up for fuel. We don't hesitate about stopping for lunch somewhere or stopping at a grocery store to provision before heading out to where we're camping that night. So that's been awesome.
The downside is, having this as our daily driver and having it be our only vehicle means that we are constantly switching in and out of stop versus storage mode. And it's a pretty quick transition. You spin the seats around, you put some stuff away that might be shaking around and
You
stuff.
lock the cabinets.
Lock the cabinets, which we always forget.
One day, I will remember to lock all the cabinets.
Or one day, maybe that'll be an automatic feature, is when you turn on the key, the cabinets lock in place with magnets or something. Winnebago, write that one down. But yeah, it is that constant transitioning is getting a little bit old. It'd be nice to have a day where our house didn't experience an earthquake.
Right. So we're having to make a decision when we stay places is, okay, we're going to pick a place where we can walk and do things like we did at Hot Springs. That was nice. Or we're going to have to do that little transition if we're going to go out and tour from our site. Or we're doing shorter stops so that we don't get stir crazy, or that we can combine our explorations or our visits with friends and family on the way. Like yesterday, every day last week, we were leaving our campsite to go take care of the bus and go visit with my brother and every day we're going to run an errand somewhere. Yesterday we just said we're staying home. We are not leaving the campground. And sure enough, that was the day that some local friends wanted to visit. We're like, well, guess what? You're coming to the campground.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you're
guys.
coming to us. We're not driving anywhere. We're taking a day off. So there's that. That is, but overall, loving it.
We've been able to fit in, a lot more driveways of friends as we've traveled, so that's been great to get back into more mooch docking and driveway surfing. One note, we're getting about 16 miles to the gallon on it, which is fabulous. It's our highest fuel efficiency house yet.
Yes, that's true.
The boat gets about 1.8 to 2, and the bus gets about 7 to 7.5. However, we have to fill this thing up almost every freaking driving day because it's only got a 20-ish gallon tank, and that's only giving us about 300 miles of range, which is about a driving day. So I do feel we are going to gas stations a lot more often.
And speaking of tanks, the black tank seems to be filling up very fast, and the fresh tank drains really fast. The gray capacity seems plenty of gray capacity, but really, really wish they managed to squeeze in another 5 gallons of fresh water and black tank capacity.
But it's been fine. We're finding about 4 or 5 days is about right, and we do try to split using campground facilities or friends' facilities for driveway surfing, and we use our own about half the time.
Yeah.
And I do shower in ours about half the time as well.
The shower's pretty functional. We love the Trumacombi. It's been wonderful for hot water, and the heat. We love the quiet heat. We love the overall design of the G. We've got a whole list of nitpicks and stuff. We'd probably do a future video on some of those, but overall, we're loving it.
Right, and a lot of our nitpicks that we come up when we look at the list of them all together, it's like, well, we just got the brand new 2020.
They fixed a lot of them.
They fixed a lot.
Not all of them, though.
So we might be a future upgrade for us. This has been a great proof of concept for us, going with a used one. We'll see how long we keep it.
We can resist the new features.
Yeah, I think it's going to be how long can we resist getting a brand shiny new one with all the features.
So, that's van life. We're kind of hooked. But still, looking forward to sleeping in a bus tomorrow night.
Or the night after.
They might need one more day.
We'll see.
Yes.
But yes, it's been great. Super impressed. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to bus life.
Cool. Mixing it up. There we go.